Okay, welcome back to my class. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. With me again, Ibu Lutfia Afifah. Now I will accompany you along an hour to study about rodent pest management using IPM strategy. What is IPM strategy? We will study in the next slide. Okay, as we know in the previous meeting that we already know the morphology of the rodent, the species of the rodent, and then the bioecology of the rodent, the senses of the rodent, how is the smell, how is the olfaction senses, how is what is their capability, the swimmer ability, and then the climb ability, and another we already know. And today we will study about how to control it, how to get rid the rodent in the field, especially. Okay, now we move to the next slide. Before we start to study the what kind of strategy that we can use to combat the threat, the first one, we have to know what is the integrated pest management. Start from the definition. Integrated pest management, or we call it IPM. In Indonesia, we call it pengendalian hama terpadu, or PHT, ya. Is an ecosystem-based strategy. This is ecosystem-based strategy that focus on long-term prevention of pests or their damage. So this is the ecosystem-based strategy that focus on long-term prevention through a combination of technique such as biological control, habitat manipulation, modification of cultural practices, the use of resistant varieties, and etc. We can use, for example, we can use biological control using owl, Tito alba, to control the rat. And then for the conservation of the biological agents such as predator and parasitoid, we can planting a flowering plant such as sunflower, the plant that have a colorful color. um, yeah, it will attract the biological agents to come. And then they also use the refugia, the plant, refugia plant, to uh, energize their uh, their energy. They use their nectar. So after they eat nectar, for especially parasitoid, so they can search the pest in the field. And then the modification of cultural practices, and then the use of resistant varieties. The use of resistant varieties is a must. Do not use a susceptible varieties. If you use the susceptible varieties, it means varietas rentan. So the susceptible varieties, the pest will be attacked, will be easily attacked those varieties. Yeah. So please use resistant varieties. And then pesticide use only after monitoring. Uh, in the IPM strategy, integrated pest management, we can use chemical pesticide as the last option of controlling pests. So if we already use culture, physical, mechanical, and biological is not really help, so we can use chemical pesticide. But a chemical pesticide is used only in the last option of controlling pests. As you can see in the picture, this pyramid diagram, cultural practices, physical, mechanical, biological, and chemical as the last control of the pest. Uh, Only if the field is necessary to use pesticide based on the economic threshold. Yeah, based on economic threshold. Okay. I will make a clear definition about economic threshold. Economic threshold is threshold at which pesticide can be used. Ya, economic threshold it means ambang ekonomi. Ya, ambang ekonomi itu adalah suatu ambang ketika pestisida itu bisa digunakan ya. Threshold when at which pesticide can be used. For example, we can use chemical pesticide when the population of brown plant hopper is 3 pests per plant. For example, it's like that. Yeah, different pests have a different economic threshold. The treatment are made with the goal of removing only the target organism. So it will more safe to environment because it specific. We only control our target organism. So yeah we save the other for example the other biological agent because in the fields is they are not only pests but also there are a lot of biological agent. If for example if we use pesticide unwisely and we must we should we if we use pesticide too much, so the effect is not only our target organism will be die but also the biological agent will be killed too. So the IPM is only removing the target organism. Means specific. Pest control material are selected and applied in a manner that minimize risk to human health. Yeah, if you use too much pesticide with unwise uh, practice, so the effect not only the environment, not only the biological agent that will be that effect by that pesticide chemical, but also the farmer will get the adverse effect too. The farmer will be contaminated with with the synthetic pesticide, and it will cause a severe disease such as cancer and etc. So we have to use synthetic pesticide wisely. And then we move to the next slide. We have a holistic approach to controlling using integrated pest management concept. The first one is economic, is favorable economic. Okay. Do not let we use integrated pest management, but the cost is too high. Yeah, no, it's not our aims, but our aims is to minimize the cost of input. So the pest control system should be favorable or economically sound, environmentally friendly. Okay, so it will save not only the biological agent which is not the target organism, but also it will save to the ground and save the air and etc. And then socially acceptable and human. Not all of the pest control is socially acceptable. For example, the use of entomopathogenic nematode. Entomopathogenic nematode is a pathogen pathogen to insect. So we can control insect with nematode. Nah, it's not socially acceptable until now, but it's because it's still debatable. Oh, why we should control the pest using nematodes? Using nematode, using cacing, yeah, it's like that, yeah. So the control should be socially acceptable and easily adapted to the local needs, yeah. Okay. And then there are four principles of integrated pest management that we have to know, we have to learn. The first one is we have to grow a healthy crop. So we can from the varieties that we use, and then the irrigation that we had, and then the fertilizer that we use. There a lot of things that we can do, so our plant would be health. If our plant is health, so they have a greater immune to to defend the pest. Okay, so the first one is grow a healthy crop, and then the second one is optimize natural enemies. We can use biological agent such as predator. Predator is an animal that prey another animal. It called predator. And then parasitoid. Parasitoid is animal that can parasitize other animal. So, for example, an insect could be infected by another, could be parasitized by another insect. It means parasitoid. We will study in another subject next semester. And then the other biological agent or other natural enemies called entomopathogenic fungi. As I told you before, entomo is insect, pathogenic is cause of disease. So entomopathogenic is agent that cause an disease on insect caused by fungi. Yeah. So the insect could be ill because of the fungi. Yeah. It simply means like that. Entomopathogenic virus is insect that can be ill by virus. Entomopathogenic bacteria have the same meaning, insect that can be ill by bacteria, like us. Yeah. And then the third one is observes for fields weekly or monitoring. Observes field weekly. So we have to make sure what is going on in our field, yeah. So we know the stage of the plant, and then we know what is the pest that already attack our plant, etc. And the fourth is farmer as expert, yeah, farmer as the central role, yeah. The farmers, the decision of the use of integrated pest management is in farmer hands. Yeah? So farmers should be knowledgeable about the integrated pest management. And then we study about the rodent management using IPM strategy. What kind of practices that we can do? The first one is cultural practices, planting and harvesting in unison. Why should we planting and harvesting in unison? Because if we didn't planting in unison, so the for example, the pest in plot A would be moved to plot B, and then will be moved to plot C, and etc. Because of they have different stage of plant. Maybe plot E in a seedling phase, and then plot B in a vegetative phase, and then plot C in a generative phase, in a lot of phase. of plant in the field. So the rodent will be moved from plot to plot. So that's why the planting and harvesting in unison is important to do. And then the second one is sanitation and rodent inspection from the sun infestation. If we in the field, we can find active burrow, lubang aktif, and then we can find damaged plant, and then maybe we can find footprint. And we can use population reduction by using trap and then baiting program, umpan, trapping itu jebakan ya, biological agent, and then we can use fumigation. Fumigation is respiratory. They can damage the respiratory of the rodent. Using sulfur, we will study later about gropiokan, and the fourth one is algaecide. And I will explain you in a detail one by one what kind of things that we can do to combat the rodent. The first one is cultural practices. What kind of things that we can do to make sure we have the right cultural practices. The first one, as I told you before, we have to planting and harvesting in unison. Aims to make the environment unsuitable for the survival and reproduction of rats. So if we are planting in the same time, we will harvest in the same time, and then there is no plant. After no plant, we can use gropiokan ya, gropiokan. And then we have to concern about plant spacing, jarak tanam, the tillage or cultivation, pengolahan tanah, irrigation, and crop rotation. We have to do the crop rotation. Yeah. Do not use the same cultivar. Do not use the same vegetation in 1 year. Yeah. For example, do not plant paddy. Yeah. Because if we plant paddy continuously, so the life cycle of the rat will continue, yeah, from growing season to growing season. So the one thing that we have to do is crop rotation. We have to change our crop to another crop. Yeah. Then burning or debris removal. Some of the pests and disease they use, for example, they use weeds to as an alternative host of the pests or disease. And then habitat sanitation. Habitat sanitation, we have to concern about the dike or irrigation canals. Yeah, and this is the active hole of in a vegetative phase, like that. And the right one is the active hole in the generative phase. So this is the looks is different. Active hole is lubang aktif ya. In vegetative phase, in any creative phase is different. And then the third one is population reduction. The trap is usually used when the infestation is small. This is suitable snap trap used in the house, but in the field is not applicable. It's hard to use snap trap in the field. It's not applicable. It's not recommendation. In the field, we can use cake traps and wooden traps. Cake trap itu perangkap seperti kandang ya. Wire trap, snap trap, bamboo trap, bandicoot trap is a kind of types of traps. The traps should be cleaned by water, yeah, after each installation, because as we know that they communicate each other using pheromone. Pheromone not only marking the area, or marking the territory, but also they can communicate uh, each other in one species. So we have to clean the trap that we have been used. So there is no odor of the rat from the previous rat. Should we use fresh and attractive bait material? This is the kind of traps, snap traps we can use in the house. Multiple catch trap we can use maybe in a hotel, in a restaurant, in a supermarket. Yeah, glue board could be used in a house, but it's not applicable in the field. And this is applicable kick trap. We can use in the field. And then another trap is called cone trap. Cone trap is can be used to catch to catch the Ratus tiomanicus wood rat. Yeah, this is the wood rat. Okay, then we move to the next slide. Okay, now we study about the TBS, trap berry system. What is trap berry system? TBS is a rice field rat control technique that is proven effective in catching mice in larger quantities and continuously from the beginning of planting to harvest. So, TBS is proven effective to catching rat in large quantities and continuously from beginning to harvesting. TBS is used often in endemic areas of rat. Yeah, endemic is area that attacked by specific pests continuously, and in each growing season the population is high. Yeah? So it's called endemic. Used in endemic area, and one TBS, one trap bear resistant, is consists of the first one is trap plant. This trap plant is commonly is planted 3 weeks before the surrounding area, or 3 weeks later than surrounding area. Yeah, this is as a bait to attract mice. The second one is plastic fence. Should be there is a plastic, yeah, that will direct mice into traps. And then the third one is perangkap bubu or trap bubu or bubu trap as a rodent catcher. These three components should be used as integrated unit in the field. So as you can see in the picture, this is trap plant, this is a plastic, and then there is a bubu trap. This is more clear photo about the TBS inside the TBS. So beside the TBS is surrounding by the ditch, yeah, and the ditch should be filled with water. Nah, dikelilingi air, dikelilingi parit, dan parit harus diisi dengan air. The placement of trap is near the main habitat of rice rat. Yeah, this is the placement of trap in a border with the village, near the irrigation, or near the rice field plots, which are often attracted by rice mice. Many places that TBS effectively used in a border with a village, in near irrigation, and near rice field plots, which are often attracted by rice mice. Okay, oh my god, I'm thirsty. And then the fence should be made from plastic with 0.8 millimeter or use terpal. The height is about 70 centimeter from the ground, and the plastic fence is supported by bamboo poles, which are mounted every 1 meter. So every 1 meter it will supported by the bamboo stick. Yeah. at the end of at the bottom end is always submerged in water in a ditch. So the TBS is mounted by the supported by this bamboo stick, and it should submerge in the water in a ditch. The trench or the ditch should be always be filled with water, as I told before, so that the rat does not pierce the fence, and there must no weeds that can use barriers to climb into the place. Yeah. Beside the ditch that should be filled with the water, the other thing that we have to consider is no weeds. Yeah, no weeds near the TBS, because if there is a weeds, so the rat will be climb the TBS, then the rat will enter easily the TBS and they will attack the paddy, because our aims in TBS that the rat will be direct into this pupu trap. Okay. I already told that TPS planted 3 weeks earlier or 3 weeks late than the surrounding rice plant. When TPS was planted 3 weeks earlier than the surrounding, so the TPS rice plant will enter the generative stage and it will attract mice to plant. If we plant 3 weeks earlier then the surrounding area, so the TBS will enter generative phase and it will attract mouse from all over the area, will attract to the TBS and they will catch into the pupu trap. Yeah, they will catch in a pupu trap. And when the TBS planted 3 weeks late than the surrounding land, so when the farmer's rice is harvested, when the farmer's rice is harvested, so the TBS plot is the only crop left. So the rest will be invaded from all over direction. That is the differences. The TBS that 3 weeks that plant 3 weeks earlier and 3 weeks late. The differences is like that. And the rest that are caught in the end of the planting will suppress the rat population in the next growing season. Yeah, it's really possible because as we know, the life cycle of the rat is really fast, and they have they can produce many young rat. They can produce many descendant or many anakan. Okay, a trap plant plus at least 25 meters times 25 meters. This is minimum size of the TBS. Okay, it's like that. This is a ditch. This is a trap plant, and this is a plastic, and this is a pupu trap. And what is the differences with the LTBS? LTBS from the words is L. It means the shape is linear. Linear. As you see in the picture, the TBS is square, but an LTBS is linear. It's the same. They use at least 70 centimeter the height of plastic, and they should install minimum 100 meters. LTBS trap, bubu trap is installed every 20 meters intermittently. Yeah, just like that. Every 20 meters, we will put the bubu trap. What is the differences with the TBS? The TBS, as you see in the picture, the TBS only catch the rat from outside from surrounding area. But in LTBS, there are two sides of bubu trap. Yeah, from they have two sides, so they can catch the rat from inside the paddy field or outside the paddy field. Differences. LTBS catches rat from two different directions, as I told you before, from the habitat and from the rice field. LTBS is designed based on the daily movement of rice rat. This is based on their daily movement from nest into the eating place. They have the same pattern. Okay. And then LTPS is recommended to be installed at the boundary between the rice field and the main habitat of rats. And this is how LTBS should be installed. It should be installed in the boundary between the rice field and the main habitat of rats, or in the along the edge of the village, or near irrigation, or near a road embankment. This is the picture of the LTBS as you see in the picture. So there are two kind of boo trap that installed every 20 meters. Yeah, they install intermittently like that, like this, like this. And then how to check the TBS and LTBS? Is that a TBS or LTBS that installed in our field is effective? Yeah. Okay, it could be effective, yeah, and the use of TBS or an LTBS, and it could be not effective at all. It's based on our monitoring. We should planting in unison as we studied before. We should check the TBS and LTBS every morning. How is the boo trap? Is that boo trap full of rat? So we have to clean the boo trap and remove the rat that have been trapped. We can kill and catch mice by immersing them in the water with a cat trap. So we have to check every day and check the plastic fence. Is it perforated? Immediately make repairs. If is that any hole? Is there any hole or the 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 plastic is not tight? You have to repair. Yeah, it's like that. Make sure the ditch or the trench is filled with water so the rat cannot break through into the trap line. Clean with, because they are good climber. So please clean with. So they couldn't access the TPS easily. And another thing that we can do is gropyokan. What is gropyokan? Gropyokan masal is actually in Indonesian. This is fumigation actually. Control of mice of control of rat by using fumigation with sulfur. The implementation of Gropyokan principally carried out by disassembling the active hull. So they put the sulfur, the fumigation. They put sulfur in an active hole of the rat, in a nest, in the nest of the rat, and then the other side of the hole, the farmer will prepare something like a stick, and they can hunt and kill together like that. Yeah, active hole is usually 6 until 8 centimeter diameter. In a nest, is actually there is a long corridor with a lot of branches in ground, long corridor with a lot of branches and enlarged room to keep the child of the rat, yeah, to giving birth and to keep the child. Rat holes actually have 2 and 3 active holes to enter and to escape. So one of the active hole is uh, is is filled by the fumigation using sulfur, and the other side the because that is the fumigation, it will attract it will um, okay because it use sulfur, it will disturbing the respiration of the rat, so the rat will move, and then they will uh, uh, looking for the exit hole, and the farmer ready with the stick to hunt and kill together. So it's like that. We can see in the slide. I have a really nice video that you can see. This is how the gropiokan managed by the farmers. Yeah, they together work with the farmer. Okay, they disassemble the nest of the rat eggs. Actually, they do like that. They do fumigation. They disassemble the nest of the rat, and then they kill together. And the gropiokan is effective to use in the beginning of the season when there are no plant in the field, ya. Or we call it musim bera, ketika tidak ada tanaman, when there is no plant in the field. And the other control, the other strategy that we can use is biological agent using owl, eagle, foxes, badgers, and etc. But the most crucial part in controlling rat is using owl. The species is Tito alba. It helps reduce rodent number. Adult owl in one night is able to prey 2 adult rat. In a breeding season, consumption will increase according to the number of children that hatch. If they giving birth a lot of children, a lot of children, a lot of young ones, so they will hunt more and more. A pair of Tito alba and 5 children are able to prey on more than 1,080 rat. It's a really fantastic number. And what we should prepare in the field, we have to build the artificial nest. It's called rubuha, rumah burung hantu in Indonesia, or pagupon. This is actually artificial nest of the Tito alba. And this is how the inside the artificial nest they can monitor of the rat in the field from this rubuha. And then we move to the next slide. Okay, here I have this is the example. This is the conservation of Tito Alba in Majalaya, Karawang.
Lokasi penangkaran
This is the
Tito Alba.
artificial nest. This artificial nest is built to conserve and aims to the as a breeding place of the Tito Alba. So this is the government. The government works with the farmers, and they build this huge nest for the breeding of the Tito Alba. Yes, this is the nest of Tito Alba. The biological control using Tito Alba. The barn owl is a nocturnal bird prey, like other animal, like other owl. So they active in the night. The barn owl has a white heart-shaped face. You can see this is a heart-shaped face. Love, yeah? With a chest with a small brown spot. A small brown spot, as you can see in the picture. And then the barn owl have a long wingspan. Wingspan. This is the wingspan of the barn owl, and they are silent in flight. There are no sound when flight. It's really silent. Distribute all over the world except Antarctica. It can occupy in a wide range of habitat and altitude, including desert, grassland, forest, agriculture, field, and urban area. So the adaptability of barn owl is quite high, and they can prey the rat. Nesting nest. They build nest in hollow trees, in a building like in a mouse, yeah, in a house, and etc. And nest boxes as like an artificial nest. The female lay eggs 2 until 11 eggs. Usually it's about 5, and incubate them for 29 until 34 days, and the young start fly about 60 days. uh, so it will need time, yeah. So the young barn owl could start to hunt. It's about 60 days after they giving birth. The barn owl has excellent low light vision. They can easily find prey at night by sight. Yeah? And even in a complete darkness, they can hunt a rat. Okay, and then this is what I was done in 2021. This is the community services. I work with the students and with the farmers in KKN skema kuliah kerja nyata. So we help farmers to control the rat using Tito Alba. We only built this nest. This nest is about 4 and 5 meters from the ground. The Tito Alba, they come by themselves. I didn't buy Tito Alba at all. No, they come by themselves because in that area, the many farmers say in that area a lot of Tito Alba can be found in a mouse, in a tree, in a house, and etc. They can find Tito Alba by their sound, and they come to the rubuha or pagupon or artificial nest by themselves. And this is how growing a healthy plant as the principle of integrated pest management. This is how the students participate in the implementation of integrated pest management, and we work together with other stakeholders like farmers from the UPTD from Pertanian. This is my son. Okay, okay. This is how we built the nest together.
Kakaknya Nusika Pulau Mulia. Pulau Mulia. Pulau Mulia.
Okay, this is community services, and I work with Bapak Widi. This is okay, and we also planting a refugia to conserve the biological agent. So the biological agent like predator and parasitoid could come, and yeah, I planting sunflower and other plant that have attractive colors of flower. And this is the miniature of rubuha, as you can see.
KKN Pulau Mulia.
Oh my god. This is the books and the leaflet that had been produced by this program. This is biological agent. The Tito alba species is different with bubu ketupu. It's different with Elenus caeruleus. Uh, Along these three species, the Tito alba is the most common biological agent to control the rat. And then the other biological control that we can use is snake, but it's not applicable to use in the field because it's too danger for farmers. So it's not socially acceptable if we use snakes as the biological agent of rats. This is Pitacora, senaja, ular cobra, Python reticulata is too danger. I'm afraid with that snake. And then the other mammalia that can be used as a predator, but it's not applicable to. We can find this musang or luwak, Paradoxurus, Herpentes, garangan, Vivivericula, actually their actual habitat is in the forest. So this is the biological agent of rat in the forest. Okay, it's different with in the field is different. And then the last one is rodenticide. As you know that rodenticide is a chemical pesticide to combat a rodent, to combat rat. Yeah, a function to kill and disrupt activities such as eating, drinking, copulation, and reproduction. Chemical management are divided into four: poison bait, stomach poison. So it the poison should be eaten by the rat. It called poisonous bait. Yeah, stomach bait. So fumigant is to disrupt the respiration of the rat. Breath poison and repellent or attractant. This is to attract the rat, and then infertility. Infertility is chemosterilant. Okay, this rodenticide is commonly used to uh, combat the rat in the house. Actually, it's not applicable in the field. The cost is too much. It's not really effective. In the field, we can use TBS, LTBS, rodenticide, Tito alba, and etc. Lot of things that we can do. Okay, yeah. And then there is no okay. There is no other. Tikus dead. There is no other. Oh, I don't. I don't think so. All of the dead organism will be decay, and it should be there is an order. Okay, I don't believe in this promotion. Rodenticide can be divided into two groups: single dose poison and multiple dose poison. What is the differences? The single dose poison is acute poison. Acute poison is strong poison, which kill the rats by single exposure to poison bait. Nah, this is acute. This is so strong poison. The differences with multiple dose poison. This chemical are effective only after multiple feeding by poison by rat. So they can dead after multiple feeding of the poison bait. Yeah. This is multiple dose poison, as you can see in the picture. And I think our meeting today is enough. Okay, this is the last thing. There is a picture. Giant rat found in London. How big this rat? Oh my god. I couldn't imagine if this rat enter Indonesia. And the last thing is resume. As usual. And please make a 20 minimum 20-minute dictionary. You can add more. More is better. You can use the term from the previous lectures. For example, elytra is water, hemimetabola is and rodenticide is what, etc. You can make a mini dictionary. Minimum is 20. You have to make, but you can add more to sharpen your knowledge about these lectures. Okay, thank you very much for today. I hope you enjoy our learning today, and we will meet again in a Zoom meeting. See you on Zoom. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.